confirmed number of new coronavirus cases reported in Los Angeles County over the weekend is 44,753, with 4 additional deaths. Here in Torrance, 593 additional cases were reported with no new deaths. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Leslie Robbins. Happy New Year. It is Monday, January 3rd. Well, as you just saw and heard, LA County had close to 45,000 reported COVID-19 cases over the New Year's weekend. Now, even with the holiday reporting delays on Saturday, the county reported 23,553 new cases and an additional 21,200 cases on Sunday. More than 20% of those getting tested for COVID-19 are testing positive. Hospitalizations have also gone up to over 1,600. Public health officials urge residents to cut back on high-risk activities, such as going to crowded events and unmasked indoor gatherings, as more and more people are testing positive for the virus. They hope by working together to implement essential public health safety measures, we can stay safe, protect those we love, and keep our schools and businesses open. They remind Angelenos that infected individuals can spread the virus 1 to 2 days before they become symptomatic. So although annoying and uncomfortable, they do ask everyone to wear well-fitting and high-quality masks, especially when in close contact with others or in crowded spaces where social distancing is not possible. Kids as young as 12 years old can now get a COVID-19 booster shot. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration expanded the emergency use authorization for Pfizer's vaccine boosters to those ages 12 to 15. The agency also shortened the time needed before receiving a booster shot from at least 6 months to now at least 5 months after getting the initial 2 doses. And the FDA also authorized a 3rd dose as part of the primary series for certain immunocompromised children ages 5 to 11, including those who received an organ transplant. FDA Acting Commissioner Dr. Janet Woodcock says it's crucial that they continue to take effective, life-saving preventative measures during the current wave of the Omicron variant. She says getting vaccinated, boosted, wearing a mask, and social distancing are all important steps to fight against the virus. The 12 to 15-year-olds will receive the same 30 microgram dose as anyone else who is eligible. Now, about 5% of Americans are in this age group. Overall, about 68.8 million people are fully vaccinated and boosted against COVID-19. That's less than half of the nearly 180 million people who are eligible to get their shots, and about 1/5 of the total U.S. population. As the Omicron variant surges across the country, health officials are now considering a new test requirement for asymptomatic Americans with COVID-19. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention wants to add a negative test along with its 5-day isolation restriction for those who get the coronavirus but don't experience any symptoms. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the White House's top medical advisor, says the CDC's new consideration comes after the agency got significant pushback on its updated recommendations last week, where it shortened the number of days infected individuals need to isolate from 10 to 5 days. This applied to those who no longer felt symptoms and didn't have a fever. After the 5-day isolation period, they are required to wear a mask. Dr. Fauci says there have been some concerns about why people aren't asked at the 5-day period to get tested. He expects to hear more about this matter this week from the CDC. Dr. Fauci also adds the U.S. has seen almost a vertical increase of new cases, now averaging 400,000 cases a day. Hospitalizations, well, they're up as well. He says we are definitely in the middle of a very severe surge and calls the acceleration of cases unprecedented. He urges Americans to get vaccinated and mask up indoors. Students are back in class after winter break, and schools across the nation have been tweaking protocols and making real-time adjustments, of course, in response to the Omicron variant and the shifting pandemic, such as requiring masks again and ramping up virus testing among students and staff members. Torrance Unified School District Superintendent Dr. Tim Stowe wrote a letter to TUSD families preparing them for today. He provided health and safety updates to ensure they had a smooth return and noted that information may change as the situation evolves. But for now, a negative COVID-19 test is not required for students to return to school, but if they have any cold or flu-like symptoms, they should get tested and stay home. The school district also encourages all students and staff members to get tested and make sure they are COVID-free, even if asymptomatic. TUSD continues to offer free testing for students and staff at all 4 high schools. Masks are required indoors and highly recommended outdoors, especially when physical distancing is not possible. The school district says choose a mask that fits snugly against your nose and chin with no large gaps, has 3 or more layers of tightly woven or non-woven material, and that you will be comfortable wearing. Ventilation continues to be an important way to reduce virus spread, so schools are keeping doors and windows open in classrooms and other meeting spaces. Now, since cooler temperatures are expected throughout the month, students are encouraged to dress in layers. And although not required, TUSD encourages everyone who is eligible to get vaccinated and boosted. Flight cancellations continue to cause a headache for thousands of travelers around the world. At last count, there were more than 4,600 total cancellations, with 3,000 of them going to, from, or within the U.S. About 12,000 flights got delayed, with more than 5,200 of them going to, from, or within the U.S. Many more passengers were stranded over the New Year's weekend. A total of more than 5,400 U.S. flights were canceled Saturday and Sunday. More than 200 flights at LAX were canceled on New Year's Day. LAX predicted about 15,000 travelers to pass through on Sunday. More than 120 flights were canceled there as of this morning, with dozens more delayed. Bad weather and the surge of COVID-19 infections are being blamed for the grounded planes. Airlines say they are taking steps to reduce cancellations caused by workers affected by the pandemic. They hope extra pay and reduced schedules will get them through the holiday rush and into January, when travel demand is expected to slow down. Residents of Israel ages 60 and over are now getting a 4th dose of a coronavirus vaccine. The government ordered the shot over the weekend to help combat a surge in new cases linked to the Omicron variant. Prime Minister Naftali Bennett made the announcement at a Sunday evening news conference, saying the new order extends to medical workers as well. He called the Omicron version of the virus a, quote, different ballgame altogether. Now, last week, Israeli health officials recommended a limited program for the second boosters of the Pfizer vaccine to medical workers and those 60 and over with weakened immune systems. Israel's Maccabi Health Services booked more than 20,000 people for the additional booster shot within 12 hours of opening appointments on Sunday night. There were long lines at testing stations across the country amid a 220% increase in new cases in the past week compared to the previous 7-day period. Israel is the first country to offer a second booster shot. Officials are deciding whether to extend the second boosters to more of the general population. CES, one of the year's biggest tech trade shows, returns to Las Vegas this week. Organizers are moving forward with plans to host an in-person component despite threats imposed by the Omicron variant. The event will be back starting this Wednesday for the first time since 2020, but with strict restrictions in place. Attendees will be required, of course, to wear masks, show proof of vaccination, and will have to test for the virus 24 hours before entering the venue with a complimentary self-testing kit, which will be provided at check-in. The event will also end one day earlier than originally planned. The Consumer Technology Association hosts the gathering and says more than 2,200 exhibitors committed, a big drop from around 4,000 exhibitors that usually attend. More than 3,300 media members are also registered for in-person attendance, but a number of companies, including Amazon, Google, Intel, Meta, and Microsoft, canceled plans to physically attend in recent weeks. The event will also once again host a digital version of the conference. A major broken pipeline is delaying the start to on-campus instruction at El Camino College. Students were supposed to return to campus today, but college officials say heating in some buildings is not stable. So, in an effort to minimize disruption, campus facilities will be closed until all heating systems have been thoroughly inspected, tested, and stabilized. Student instruction for the winter session is now fully remote. Students who need equipment for remote learning can access the school's laptop loan program, and all staff, faculty, and management who provide non-instructional support services can return to their on-campus work schedules as soon as heat is restored to all buildings, which could be as early as this Thursday. Employees coming back on campus will be tested for the coronavirus to ensure they are COVID-free. Americans have a chance to win more than $540 million tonight. Well, no one took home the growing Powerball jackpot on Saturday, and the next drawing is tonight. If you match all the numbers on the ticket, you could win $540 million with a cash value of more than $380 million. Powerball drawings are held 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 7:59 p.m. Pacific time. The Powerball jackpot has not been won since one lucky Californian won nearly $700 million in October. Well, before we go at the end of each program, we like to share feel-good stories from our community. Pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. One of the highlights of the 133rd Rose Parade was the Torrance Float making its way down Colorado Boulevard as the 60th entry in the parade route. Titled The Embodiment of Nature, it won the Princess Trophy for the most outstanding floral presentation among entries 35 feet and under. The Torrance Rose Float Association's latest creation featured a majestic African elephant alongside a colorful toucan, which highlighted the warmth and beauty of the animal kingdom while promoting awareness of endangered species. A group of Torrance residents caught the parade live and shared this picture with us. That's beautiful. This year's Rose Parade theme was Dream, Believe, Achieve. And thanks to the hard work of volunteers who helped put this float together, Torrance was highlighted in this beautiful way for the world to see on January 1st. Now, if you have a great story, an upcoming event, a photo, or video you would like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We would love to hear from you. Well, that is our update for COVID-19 today. We will see you back here tomorrow as Jin Chun brings you the latest. Please be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in.